Kanye West's wife, Bianca Censori, has caused outrage online and the scandal of the 2025 Grammys. All before the show even started. The fashion statement might even put the model behind bars. You heard me right, we have gone from the fashion police to the real police, so let's get into it. Of course, fashion is subjective because, you know, everyone has different styles and preferences with clothing amount, and sometimes you just see a red carpet look and it's so ugly that you say to yourself, that deserves jail time, but never did I think that a fashion choice would actually get someone jail time. But a completely see-through mesh dress with nothing underneath, and I do mean nothing underneath, will have that effect. But Bianca's outfit is more than just a daring fashion choice. It is one that could potentially get her in trouble with the law, possibly resulting in time behind bars. I will admit that the potential jail time is not super long. It's only 6 months in a county jail. I mean, that is long enough to be a serious inconvenience though. What Bianca could potentially be charged with is in the realm of indecent exposure. The county jail trip would be a result of a first-time offense. Indecent exposure falls under California Penal Code 314-1. It's defined as when a person exposes his or her naked body or genitals in front of anyone who could be annoyed or offended by it. Clearly, that has happened. There's no way around it. Thousands of people have shared online that the outfit has offended and annoyed them. Bianca was completely exposed under the thin layer of mesh. You could clearly see that she is naked. The disrobing took place on the Grammys red carpet. The couple knew that they would be seen because it's the biggest red carpet for the music industry. What could, I guess, save them is that there are a few conditions to 100% fall under indecent exposure. They include intentionally expose your genitals or naked body, expose yourself in front of someone who might be offended or annoyed by it, intend to direct attention to yourself, and intend to sexually gratify yourself or offend someone else when you do it. A lawyer must prove that Bianca did all of those things beyond reasonable doubt. Some are easier to prove than others. One major question is, will the mesh layer count as covering up? They could argue that she wasn't fully exposed because she had that layer, thin but there. I mean, many people online do not believe the mesh is enough because you could clearly see everything. If you can believe it though, this isn't the first time that Bianca has risked jail time with a risque look. During a trip to Tokyo last year, she sported some see-through looks that quickly sparked backlash. Exposing oneself in public in Japan is apparently worse than it is in the US, so people weren't happy and called the model disrespectful. Plus, she was also there with Kanye and his kids, so people weren't happy that she was dressed like that around them either. Bianca actually did change up her style later in later appearances on the trip. She went the complete opposite, opting for turtlenecks and even once a long cape. Despite her revealing style, Bianca has never actually been charged, it seems, but maybe this time will be the breaking point considering her bottom half is usually not exposed like it was at the Grammys this year. In the event that she is found guilty of indecent exposure, this would be her first offense. The penalties for a first offense are the county jail time and or a $1,000 fine. The likelihood of Bianca, model and Kanye West's wife, going to jail is low. It's way more believable that she would just pay the fine, which is $1,000 again. Of course, the idea of a $1,000 fine is nothing to a couple millionaires. The problem that would affect them though is if she were to get charged a second time, because the punishment is way worse. The second offense repercussions make the first offense look like nothing. A second offense is apparently treated as a felony, and a felony means potential state prison time. If you are convicted of felony indecent exposure, you have to become a registered S offender, and that is sticking for 10 years. So in the event that Bianca is charged this time, she will have to be slightly more conservative and careful with her fashion in the future, or she runs the risk of state prison and putting her name on the wrong kind of list. It's clear how the internet feels about this. People are sharing that they don't want to view Bianca in this way. There were rumors circulating that due to the nature of her chosen look, the pair were asked to leave the event. Sources have claimed that this is true, others have claimed that it was always planned that the pair wouldn't stay for the show. In the event that they had stayed, Bianca likely would have had to keep her big fuzzy coat on during filming, as networks often have guidelines about what can and can't be shown on TV. A nude body is one of those things. There were even rumors that the pair crashed the event. However, that is not true, as Kanye was nominated this year. here. Bianca Censori might be ruffling feathers with her Grammys 2025 look, but the idea of a naked dress is not actually new. It's just never been taken to such an extreme. Plus, Kanye and his wife are just not the general public's favorite people, so that only added fuel to the fire. The idea of a naked dress, or an illusion dress, is way older than you might expect. Cher caused quite the stir in her shiny feather ensemble 50 years ago on the cover of Time magazine, but it dates even earlier than 1975. Iconic 20s actress Clara Bow famously wore one, but depending on who you ask, you could take it back even further to the original fashionista, Marie Antoinette. She was once painted wearing a gown that strongly resembled the undergarments of her time, and it caused quite a fuss. Today, the barely there look is very popular. Kanye's ex-wife Kim Kardashian has put together many looks in which she appears to be wearing very little. Her sisters are also known to don a see-through ensemble. Beyoncé once wore a jeweled Givenchy gown to the 2015 Met Gala. Dua Lipa wore a shiny ensemble to a Barbie premiere, and that's only a handful of the mesh outfits worn in the past couple decades. But still, none of those women or the numerous other individuals from over the years have ever experienced this level of pushback or jail risk, so why Bianca? Well, for one, it's clear that even before this incident, people just aren't super fond of Kanye West and his wife right now. Kanye has made some pretty controversial moves over his career, but some even more damaging comments in recent years that have left a bad taste in the public's mouth. But there is also the fact that Bianca's dress is just more see-through than the other garments. She originally stepped onto the carpet with the big fuzzy black coat and then revealed her actual look when the cameras were flashing. Usually when a celebrity wears a see-through or a mesh dress like this, it's not actually showing everything. There's usually strategically placed designs or something sewn on that hides the privates and the rest of the body is exposed. Or if the area doesn't have anything covering it, the celeb usually gives the illusion they're not wearing anything by wearing nude undergarments. With a more recent movement to normalize a woman's chest being out the same way a man's can, see-through tops are not really an issue anymore, it's more about the bottom. Bianca was not wearing anything. That does not happen. She was literally a thin piece of mesh fabric away from standing just completely naked on a red carpet. And some would argue that she is just standing there completely naked on a red carpet, mesh or not. She also might be facing more backlash at this event because the Grammys this year were not just for celebrating music, but they were also a fundraising event. As you likely know, wildfires have torn the state of California and in particular the city of LA apart. Due to the fact that there were multiple burning at once, it's heartbreaking to see so much destruction. In an effort to help out those currently dealing with the loss of their homes and the overall rebuild, the Grammys worked a fundraiser into the event this year. Some people think that Bianca's stunt was in extra poor taste because of the fundraising happening. Already, people were accusing the couple of only doing this to become the center of attention. Trying to be the center of attention at an awards show is one thing, to try at a fundraising event is another. There's also the matter that some people speculate that West is controlling his wife. Past partners of his have come forward and said that he did attempt to dictate what they wore. One journalist really wanted to get to the bottom of it all and outright asked West if his wife had free will. Obviously, West didn't take that very well. I mean, imagine having someone come up to you asking that. Kanye asked the reporter if they were crazy and insane. Still, despite the clear denial that he controls Bianca, people still speculate. The fact that she always seems to be the one with no clothes on and he's fully dressed next to her has not helped their case. It does seem to be her trademark style, though, to wear invisible clothes, to the point that when she did wear something that wasn't see-through, it actually became a whole thing. But still, people find it off-putting whenever pictures come out of the couple and Kanye is covered head to toe and she is so often exposed. But I mean, it is the year 2025, we're at a quarter of a century, and times are changing.
Now, Kanye and his wife Bianca Censori shocked everyone at the Grammys this past week. On the red carpet, Kanye was seen wearing it all black while Bianca was in a long black fur coat. But then she removed her coat, revealing her nearly naked look with a nude hued sheer dress without any undergarments on. Now, she was pretty much naked. There are videos of this interaction, and while posing for photographers, Kanye said, "You're making a scene now," to which she nodded in agreement. He then added, "Make a scene, I'll say it'll make so much sense," before telling his wife to drop it behind you and then turn. I "I got you," he reportedly consoled Bianca, who responded with, "Alright, let's go." And then she dropped the coat, shocking everyone. Now, a lot of people were disgusted and truly just confused, and everyone's talking about it, but it's mostly negative. Many people think that Kanye is using Bianca to do these outlandish things that she actually doesn't want to be a part of. It's just dehumanizing and weird, but I guess that's what Kanye wanted. I mean, Kanye has just broken his silence on the stunt, posting to his Instagram that his wife was the most popular Google search, overshadowing the winners of the Grammys. It seems like this is the response that he wanted, as it's all anyone can talk about. Now, thankfully for Bianca, she won't face any legal repercussions for this, but fans think he forced her to do this, as many times in the past he's taken credit for her weird, strange, and barely there clothes. Now, it honestly seems like she's stuck in this marriage and has to do whatever Kanye says, which is scary. Now, more and more people have grown to be concerned for her, but she continues to stand by Kanye's side. Now, we have to talk about Kanye's complete obsession with his ex-wife, Kim Kardashian. Kanye once posted a screenshot on his verified Instagram account of his daughter North on TikTok. He captioned the post, "Since this is my first divorce, I need to know what I should do about my daughter being put on TikTok against my will," the caption read. Now, Kim shot back with a statement posted on the stories portion of her verified Instagram account, where she said, "Kanye's constant attacks on me in interviews and on social media is actually more hurtful than any TikTok North might create. As a parent who is the main provider and caregiver for our children, divorce is difficult enough on our children, and Kanye's obsession with trying to control and manipulate our situation so negatively and publicly is only causing further pain for all. From the beginning, I wanted nothing but a healthy and supportive co-parenting relationship because it's what's best for our children, and it saddens me that Kanye continues to make it impossible every step of the way. I wish to handle all matters regarding our children privately, and hopefully he can respond to the third attorney he has had in the last year to resolve any issues amicably." But in 2022, Kanye also brought more issues to social media, claiming that Kim basically kidnapped their daughter Chicago. "You are lying and are liars," wrote Kanye. "Y'all basically kidnapped Chicago on her birthday so she could remember her father not being there. Travis Scott gave me the address of my child's party. That's how y'all play with black fathers." Now, Khloe, Kim's sister, hit back at Kanye online though, saying, "I don't want to do this on social media, but you keep bringing it here. You are the father of my nieces and nephews, and I'm trying to be respectful, but please stop tearing Kimberly down and using our family when you want to deflect." Now, Khloe also implied that Kanye's repeated references to being excluded from Chicago's birthday party were made up by the rapper. Again, with the birthday narrative, she continued. "Enough already. We all know the truth, and in my opinion, everyone's tired of it. You know exactly where your children are at all times, and you wanted separate birthdays. I have seen all the texts to prove it. And when you changed your mind and wanted to attend, you came," she said. Now, Kanye West also has a weird obsession with Taylor Swift. More recently, he unfollowed everyone on Instagram with the exception of Taylor. He then shared a screenshot of his following list to his Instagram stories highlighting this. Now, this is just weird because him and Taylor have had a lifelong feud, and Taylor has made it very clear that she doesn't want anything to do with him. He's just out here harassing her again and again, and it's so gross. It was then also reported that he desperately requested that while at the Grammys, he would be spotted with Taylor. It said that his team had been reportedly quizzing people about Taylor's entrance and seating arrangements. He wanted to try to bump into her and chat in front of the cameras, a source said. Why is this so weird? Well, him and Taylor have been enemies on and off for years, but Taylor has made it pretty clear that she wants nothing to do with the rapper anymore. In 2009, Taylor accepted her VMA for Best Female Video, but then suddenly in the middle of her speech, Kanye stormed the stage and took the microphone from her and said, "Yo Taylor, I'm really happy for you, I'ma let you finish, but Beyonce has one of the best videos of all time." Now, Kanye ruined one of her biggest moments and the feud ignited. Now, there was some back and forth, but in 2015 the pair were spotted together at the Grammys and they seemingly made up, but that didn't last for long. Now, it all changed when Kanye released the song Famous with the lyrics, "I think Taylor and I might still have sex, why I made that be famous." Now, after it was released, Taylor spoke out about how disgusted and offended she was by the lyrics, but Kanye's then wife Kim Kardashian came to his rescue. She totally knew that it was coming out. She wanted to all of a sudden act like she didn't. I swear, my husband gets so much for things when he really was doing proper protocol and even called to get it approved. Kim then released video footage of Kanye and Taylor on the phone discussing the song. Now, Taylor had no idea that she was being recorded at the time, but she did approve the lyric, "I feel like me and Taylor might still have sex," and she was supportive of it. But it is important for me to point out that she did not know of or approve the lyric, "I made that be famous," which is the line that she had a problem with. Taylor then posted a statement saying, "Where's the video of Kanye telling me he was gonna call me that B in his song? It doesn't exist because it never happened. You don't get to control someone's emotional response to being called that B in front of the entire world," she wrote in a note. "I would very much like to be excluded from this narrative, one I have never asked to be a part of since 2009. Kanye then released a music video for the song that included a wax figure of Taylor in it, and it was just so invasive and disgusting. But you see, most people on the internet were on Kanye's side, and Taylor had to hide away from the world. But in 2020, the full unedited version of the Taylor and Kanye phone call was leaked, and it proved that Taylor was right. But the fact that Kanye did all of this to her is so messed up. Famous came out in 2016, and he's still obsessed with Taylor 9 years later. It's honestly scary. And finally, in 2022, it seemed like Kanye's career was crumbling down. He had many scandals that year, so here's a quick list of them. During Paris Fashion Week on October 3rd, he wore a shirt that said "White Lives Matter." On October 11th, Vice obtained unaired footage from an interview of Kanye with Fox News anchor Tucker Carlson, which was filled with Kanye saying horrific, problematic things. Then, an episode of The Shop was pulled due to Kanye spewing more hate speech, with producers deciding against airing the interview and refusing to share any more details of Kanye's comments. Kanye then also went on Twitter and spread hate, and as a result, he was banned from the platform. At the end of October, major brands announced that they'd no longer be working with the rapper due to his ongoing comments. The Gap had dropped the rapper back in September that year, and other brands that dropped the rapper included Balenciaga, Creative Artists Agency, JP Morgan, and Adidas. Now, with Kanye being dropped by Adidas, he lost a staggering $1.5 billion, with Forbes stating that the rapper is no longer a billionaire, with his net worth dropping to $400 million at the time. Now, he didn't stop there, as his behavior got worse and worse, and if that wasn't the biggest red flag, then I don't know what is.
My mom saved my life. It would have been no Kanye West, because my dad was too busy.
Following the event and Kanye not even qualifying to make the ballot in South Carolina, he began to go on a bizarre tirade of tweeting. He first exposed his own wife when he tweeted, "Kim was trying to fly to Wyoming with a doctor to lock me up like on the movie Get Out because I cried about saving my daughter's life yesterday." Yes, he actually compared his wife trying to help him to being in the movie Get Out by Jordan Peele. The Twitter rant did not stop there though. He also said, "I put my life on my God that North's mom would never photograph her doing Playboy, and that's on God. I'm at the ranch, come and get me?" He then followed that tweet up with, "Everybody knows the movie Get Out is about me." This man needs help, plain and simple. At first, everyone just thought that maybe this is some sort of PR move to promote an upcoming product or album. However, when you look into his troubled past, it's clear that Kanye is having regular episodes of mania whenever he isn't on his medication. In 2016, he went through a very similar Twitter storm, and this was in direct connection to him messing with his medications. Kanye told TMZ 2 years later that during that time, he had just had liposuction done, and due to the amount of pain that he was in, the doctors prescribed him opioids, which he then became addicted to. Finally, a member of his team told him that they called those pills genius killers. So now, terrified that he was going to lose his ability to make money, Kanye got off the pills. But subsequently, this just gave him an inherent fear of all medications. He went on to say that he was supposed to be taking medication to treat his bipolar disorder, but he felt like it was messing with his creativity, so he stopped. Now, if this truly is the case, and these drugs are not always the best for everyone, then why wouldn't he be looking into other ways to treat this illness? As I mentioned earlier, bipolar disorder disorder can be controlled through the help of psychological counseling, and that being said, Kanye is clearly fearing that by going to see a doctor, he's somehow going to be brainwashed. He doesn't see that by seeking medical attention, he could become a better father, artist, and overall person. Instead, his focus is on running for president, which is clearly a delusion of grandeur. The reason why we should be worried about Kanye is because his delusions are being confirmed by us. Us as in the general public, if you will. Kanye wouldn't think that he has some sort of godlike power if his fans didn't treat him like a god. By feeding into his delusions, you're only damaging the artist that you supposedly care so much about. Kanye isn't even an extreme example of someone with bipolar disorder. He's simply an uber famous person, so everything about his mental illness just seems very extreme to us. We should be worried about Kanye so that everyone who suffers from this disorder knows that they won't be left out of the conversation when it comes to treating this specific mental illness. There are many medications for treating bipolar disorder, so a psychiatrist who is best qualified to identify which drugs work best for a specific patient should oversee treatment. That being said, if you or a loved one needs help coping with bipolar disorder and just, managing the effects of depression or mania on both ends of the spectrum, please call a bipolar crisis hotline for confidential assistance. Don't be like Kanye West and push away the people who are only trying to help you.
In at number 10, Ray J. Kanye and Ray J have been in a long-running feud surrounding Ray J's former relationship with Kim Kardashian and their infamous adult tape. The feud reignited recently after Kanye claimed that he got a second copy of the tape from Ray J and saved Kim from that embarrassment. Kanye has also called out Ray J in a number of songs. In 2016, he rapped, quote, "I bet me and Ray J would be close friends if we didn't like the same woman. Yeah, he might have hit it first, only problem is I'm rich." Allegations were made by Ray J's former manager, Wack 100, on a podcast that there was a part 2 of their tape that Ray J still owned. Both Kim and Ray J shot down these rumors, but they were brought up once again by Kanye. Kanye told Hollywood Unlocked, quote, "I went and I got the laptop from Ray J myself that night. I met this man at the airport, then got on a red-eye flight, came back and delivered it to her at 8 a.m. in the morning." Ye went on to say that after he delivered the laptop to Kim, she cried when she saw the footage. However, it doesn't look like that's true, because Kim's team later clarified that there was no other unseen footage on the recently acquired tape, and Kanye was basically lying. Ray J also spoke out against Kanye, who unnecessarily brought up this frustrating topic once again. He wrote on Twitter, quote, "This needs to stop, I also have kids." In at number 9, Drake. This is easily Kanye's most notorious feud that came to a head once again in 2021, during the recent release of both of their albums. Back in 2009, these two were friends and often spoke of how much they respected one another's work. But sadly, over time that started to change, and the pair started taking shady digs at one another, like when Drake started dating Amber Rose shortly after her and Kanye split. But things looked good once again in 2015, when they collaborated on a Big Sean song and even hinted at a collaboration album. But things got tense once again in 2018 when Pusha T released his diss track Infrared, which Kanye produced. The song accused Drake of having a ghostwriter. Then shortly after, Pusha dropped the story of Adidon, which exposed that Drake had a love child. The pair got into another feud when Drake seemingly referenced Kim Kardashian on one of his songs and did not deny the hookup rumors. Things were turned up once again in 2021 after Drake dissed Kanye on a song. In response, Kanye doxed Drake and shared the exact location of Drake's Toronto home. This resulted in both of their albums getting a ton of press for their releases. So honestly, maybe it was all for show. In at number 8, Travis Scott. This feud is even more awkward considering the family connection between Travis and Kanye. In 2018, Kanye dragged Travis into his long-standing feud with Drake. Travis had posted a selfie on Instagram wearing a Nike sweatshirt, which Kanye felt was a betrayal because Kanye had a business relationship with Adidas, who is a huge competitor of Nike's. The feud continued when Drake and Travis collaborated on Travis' hit song, Sicko Mode, and their lyrics in the song about preferring checks over stripes, aka Nike's signature logo, to Adidas's. And this of course upset Kanye. Kanye later tweeted, quote, "How are you gonna be on Travis' song coming at me? Trav should have never allowed that." He later added, "Meeting with Trav tonight, bet it never be checks over stripes line again on a Travis song." Kylie later confirmed the feud had been settled when she tweeted, quote, "Everyone is good, moved on, living life. For anyone who wasn't aware, Travis has a deal with Nike and still does." Point is, it's all been talked out, it's only positive energy. And at number 7, Peppa Pig. Peppa Pig is best known as the lovable cartoon for kids, but she decided to throw some major shade Kanye's way after he released his highly anticipated album, Donda. Pitchfork initially rated Peppa Pig's sophomore album, Peppa's Adventures, the album, a 6.5 in 2021, while the site gave Kanye West only a 6 for his album Donda. So it's clear from these numbers, Peppa is the better artist, right? She thought so too, and decided to inform Kanye about her album rating on Twitter. Peppa's team wrote, quote, Peppa didn't need to host listening parties in Mercedes-Benz Stadium to get that 0.5, showing pictures comparing both of their Pitchfork scores. The internet was set ablaze by this tweet, and everyone could not believe that Peppa would call out Kanye like that. Shockingly, Kanye did not respond to this callout, even though he responds to almost everything said about him. Honestly, I'm not sure how he would even respond to those cold hard facts. And at number 6, Jay-Z. This feud is really sad, because beforehand, Kanye and Jay-Z were incredibly close and would even consider themselves to be family. But after Kanye had one too many outbursts, Jay felt it was best for him to no longer have Kanye in his life. Some tension between the two developed when Jay-Z did not attend Kanye's wedding to Kim Kardashian. Then during his Pablo tour, Kanye lashed out at Jay-Z on stage. He said, quote, "Don't call me after the robbery and say, how are you feeling? You wanna know how I'm feeling? Come by the house. Bring the kids by the house like we're brothers, let's sit down." Jay-Z clapped back on album 444, where he rapped, quote, "I know people backstab you, I feel bad too, but this F everybody attitude ain't natural. But you ain't the same, this ain't kumbaya, but you got hurt because you did kumbaya. You gave him 20 million without blinking. He gave you 20 minutes on stage, F was he thinking." Exposing that he gave Kanye $20 million when he was broke. Halfway number 5, Taylor Swift. We all know about the epic feud between Taylor and Kanye that has only gotten worse with time. It all started on September 13th of 2009 at the VMAs. Taylor went up to accept her award when Kanye ran up on stage, stole the mic, and said, quote, "Yo Taylor, I'm really happy for you, I'ma let you finish, but Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time." This horrible decision led to the decade-long feud. The next day, Kanye apologized, but then later rescinded this apology, claiming he'd been forced into this apology. After a few years of no drama, the pair seemed to be friendly again. But that all changed when Kanye dropped his Life of Pablo. In the song Famous, Kanye referenced Taylor, saying they might still sleep together and calling her the B-word. Amid public outcry, Kanye's wife, Kim Kardashian, posted videos of Taylor and Kanye discussing the song, with the latter sounding like she approved it. After a year of disappearance in August of 2017, Taylor responded with the track Look What You Made Me Do. The pair's fans still fight over who was wrong in this situation, but it's clear this feud will never be resolved. And at number 4, Amber Rose. The public feud that Kanye had with his ex, Amber Rose, has to be the messiest because a lot of family secrets were exposed. It all started in 2008 when the couple started seeing each other. The pair were together for 2 years before splitting in 2010. Tensions really started brewing when she dated Wiz Khalifa right after, and they ended up getting married. After they split, Tyga started dating Kylie Jenner, which means nothing until you learn that China and Amber Rose are best friends. So Amber was involved in the feud with the Kar-Jenner family. Then Kanye went on The Breakfast Club and said about Amber Rose, quote, "It's very hard for a woman to be with a man who's dated Amber," and apparently he had to take 30 showers before he got with Kim. Kanye also discussed Tyga's relationship with Kylie and said he thought Tyga got in early and that Tyga was smart. Amber responded by tweeting the craziest thing I've ever seen, quote, "Aw, Kanye West, are you mad I'm not playing around in your anymore? Hashtag fingers in the." So very, very messy stuff. Later, Amber admitted that she regretted those tweets. And at number 3, Pete Davidson. Since Kim has started publicly dating Pete Davidson following her divorce from Kanye, Kanye's latest target is Pete. Because it's clear that Kanye wants Kim back and Pete is now standing in the way. In a track released last week by West and The Game, Ye rapped, quote, "God save me from that crash just so I can beat Pete Davidson's," referring to his 2002 car crash. Kanye also trashed Kim during an interview, saying, quote, "How you gonna bring me to SNL then kiss the dude you're dating right in front of me?" But apparently Pete is not worried over the threats and thinks they are hilarious. A source said, quote, "Pete thinks it's totally hilarious. Not just that, he thinks the whole tabloid drama with him, West, and Kardashian is hilarious. He loves it." Apparently the newfound feud with Kanye has even brought Pete and Kim closer together. Pete also just confirmed that Kim is his girlfriend. And at number 2, 50 Cent. Yet another rapper Kanye has feuded with was 50 Cent. It started back in 2007 when Kanye changed the release date of his upcoming album to be the exact same as 50 Cent's, Very Shady. Originally it was supposed to drop on September 18th, but Kanye moved it up 1 week to be on the 11th. Graduation sold close to 1 million units and easily beat out 50 Cent, who only sold 691,000 copies. This was a huge moment in Kanye's career, and many say this moment he officially became the king of rap. At that time, 50 Cent said he would never release a solo album again if Graduation beat out Curtis, but when it did, he did not keep his promise, and he's released multiple albums since. Then in 2019, 50 Cent stirred up more trouble by making fun of Kanye's clothing line, saying, quote, "What in the spare some change type is this?" And finally at number 1, Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake and Kanye got into a strange feud after Kanye accused Timberlake of crying after he didn't win a Grammy. While he was speaking at the 2015 MTV VMAs, Kanye spoke of a moment that they had at the Grammys. He said, quote, "I sat at the Grammys and saw Justin Timberlake and CeeLo Green lose. And bro, Justin, I'm not trying to put you on blast, but I saw that man in tears. And I was thinking he deserved to win Album of the Year. In the small box that we are of entertainers of the evening, how could you explain that?" Some fans supported Kanye's comments, because he did compliment Timberlake by saying that he should have won Album of the Year, although many felt he put Timberlake on blast. Timberlake then gave a shady response to this speech, writing on Twitter, quote, "Kanye is so cute, y'all." But after a lot of backlash from Kanye's fans, Timberlake later tweeted in support of Kanye.
At number 10, Taylor Swift. Back in 2016, Kanye released a song called Famous that featured a lyric involving Taylor Swift that turned out to be quite controversial. Kanye's lyric essentially claimed that he and Taylor would have an intimate relationship because he made her famous. The fame in reference being to the VMA scandal. Remember that? Long time ago. Still in our memories. When the song was first released, Kanye said that he called Taylor before dropping the song to make sure that the lyric was okay and said it got her approval, but later Taylor's publicist came out to say that she was never made aware of the lyric saying that he made her famous. After Kanye was called out for lying, Kim K came out saying that she recorded the whole conversation and it showed that Taylor was actually made aware of the song, and so Taylor was called out for lying instead. Finally, a new chapter has come out which reveals that Kanye never disclosed the entire lyric to Taylor, and so that's why she called him out. This back and forth between Taylor and Kanye basically ended up with Taylor exposing the rapper for lying and warning us about the lengths that he and his wife will go to save their asses, even if they're wrong. At number 9, Chris Evans. I'm sure we're all familiar with Kanye's support for Donald Trump, at least before he decided to run for president himself. Kanye was seen sporting a MAGA hat in 2018 in a post on Twitter, followed by a tweet where he said, quote, "This represents good and America becoming whole again. We will no longer outsource to other countries. We build factories here in America and create jobs. We will provide jobs for all who are free from prisons as we abolish the 13th Amendment. Message sent with love," end quote. Well, after Chris Evans saw this and had to speak up. Denouncing Kanye's political beliefs and ideals, Chris tweeted a reply to the rapper's tweet where he said, quote, "There's nothing more maddening than debating someone who doesn't know history, doesn't read books, and frames their myopia as a virtue. The level of unapologetic conjecture I've encountered lately isn't just frustrating, it's retrogressive, unprecedented, and absolutely terrifying." Chris essentially warned us about Kanye's political beliefs as he called them absolutely terrifying, which they were, seeing as Kanye said that he wanted to abolish the amendment which abolished slavery. If you guys are enjoying the video so far, please consider giving it a thumbs up. We love seeing your positive feedback and it really helps out the channel. At number 8, John Legend. After another Twitter rampage about how much he supported Donald Trump, Kanye was getting some backlash from celebrities like Ice-T and Stephen Colbert, as well as John Legend. In a series of tweets from the singer, John spoke about how there are too many people in the world to ignore the presence of racism in society, seemingly pointing the finger at Kanye and his support of Trump's MAGA campaign. John went on to say, quote, "I love that great, brilliant artists have the power to imagine a better future, but artists can't be blind to the truth," and ending his Twitter speech by saying, quote, "The defining trait of Trump's campaign and political profile was his embrace of white supremacy. He made it clear every time he spoke, some serious cognitive dissonance to ignore that for the others who you might find appealing," end quote. John seemingly condemned Kanye's support of Trump and how he was essentially fighting against the lives of so many Black Americans, and warned his fans about how dangerous this mindset can be. At number 7, Kim Kardashian. This summer, as Kanye West went on a Twitter rant about his wife Kim, mother-in-law Kris, and even his kids, all eyes were on him and his family because of some of the things he was saying. It was believed that Kanye was suffering from some sort of manic episode as a result of his bipolar disorder. Kim Kardashian released a statement to address his recent online behavior where she said, quote, "He is a brilliant but complicated person who, on top of the pressures of being an artist and a Black man who experienced the painful loss of his mother, has to deal with the pressure and isolation that is heightened by his bipolar bipolar disorder. Those who are close with Kanye know his heart and understand his words sometimes do not align with his intentions, end quote. Her statement about her husband's mental health was sort of a heads up to fans as well as the media that Kanye was experiencing a lot at this time and that his actions are sometimes taken out of hand because of his mental illness. It wasn't necessarily a warning, but more so some important information about the rapper as to not judge him too harshly. Kim's statement told us that he has this trouble sometimes and that we should be patient with him at times like these. At number 6, Kris Jenner. Back in 2016, after a bout of controversial tweeting and public scandals, Kris Jenner warned her kids to stay away from Kanye. 2016 was a tumultuous year for the rapper as he got into a number of Twitter beefs and was even hospitalized for a psychiatric emergency. Well, in an effort to distance her family from Kanye's drama, she advised her youngest daughters, Kendall and Kylie, to stay away from him and to not trust him. An insider told sources that, quote, Kris has advised her daughters to not discuss any upcoming business opportunities or deals with Kanye, saying the less he knows the better. Kris was afraid that Kanye would try and make Kendall and Kylie doubt their business deals, make them feel guilty about their decisions, and give them bad advice. One of the reasons why Kris was so adamant about keeping her daughter's business away from Kanye is because earlier that year the rapper went on a Twitter rant about Kylie and her potential business deal with the brand Puma, where he said, quote, 1000% there will never be a Kylie Puma anything. That's on my family. 1000% Kylie is on Yeezy team. Kylie's partnership with the brand was almost ruined because of this, and so Mama Kris made sure that would never happen again. At number 5, Lorde. In 2018, singer Lorde accused Kanye West of stealing her stage design. This was in response to a stage design that Kanye and Kid Cudi used for a performance at a music festival that summer that was pretty much identical to what Lorde used at her 2017 Coachella performance. The performers used an identical transparent box suspended over the stage as a focal point for their concerts, and Lorde was not having it. Lorde spoke out about Kanye's creative theft, saying, quote, I'm proud of the work I do, and it's flattering when other artists feel inspired by it to the extent that they choose to try it on themselves, but don't steal, not from women or anyone else, not in 2018 or ever, end quote. She warned him against stealing, but also seemingly warned other artists about his stealing since this wasn't a new thing for Kanye. In the past, he's also been accused of similar plagiarism from 9 Inch Nails, and Taylor Swift has also commented on his stage design in her song Look What You Made Me Do. At number 4, Obama. Shortly after Kanye announced in 2015 that he would be running for president in 2020, then President Barack Obama had some thoughts on the matter. While speaking at a fundraising event, Obama poked fun at Kanye's presidential dreams, where he gave him some advice, like telling him he needs to, quote, be cool with dealing with strange characters who behave like they're on a reality TV show, an obvious reference to Keeping Up with the Kardashians. He also poked fun at Kanye's outspoken nature in reference to his Twitter rampages, as well as his background of being a, quote, black guy from the south side of Chicago with a funny name. Though it was all supposed to be jokes, there was also a message behind Obama's bit, which sort of warned the American people against voting for someone like Kanye because he can't be taken seriously, especially in the world of politics. We saw this over this past summer at his campaign rally where things got out of hand, so maybe Obama was right. At number 3, Amber Rose. In October 2020, Kanye's ex Amber Rose came out in an interview accusing the rapper of bullying her for the past 10 years. She spoke out about her experience dating Kanye for 2 years, calling him a narcissist, and talking about how he's been speaking badly about her publicly for the past decade. She warned others about getting too close to the rapper, saying that unlike her, he has no compassion and attacks people. Going on to reference how he said he needed 30 showers after being with her, she called him out on that, inferring that this was not his mindset back when they were together, and saying that he, quote, says things to make his wife more comfortable. The interview sort of pulls back the curtains on their relationship and shows how Amber has been dealing with it since they broke up in 2010. The fact that even though they've been apart for 10 years, she still gets bullied by him shows that Kanye has a mean side, and by coming forward about this, she's warning other people about getting too cozy with Kanye. Knowing this, it will be interesting to see what Kim might say after they get divorced. At number 2, Drake. In 2018, Drake called Kanye out for backstabbing and betraying his trust, and he warned others about Kanye's schemes to use others for his own gain. In an interview, Drake spoke out about his beef with Kanye and how Kanye leaked some of his personal information, as well as being used by Kanye to make his album. Drake said that Kanye invited him to Wyoming, where he convinced Drake to tell him some stuff about one of his upcoming albums. They bonded, and Kanye gave Drake the song Lift Yourself, which he later released himself. Drake also told Kanye about his then secret son, Adonis. When rapper Pusha T released a song accusing Drake of not writing his own songs, he felt hurt and blamed Kanye for this leak, and when he pushed back, another song was released telling the story about Drake's son. This information was given to Kanye in secret, so he knew that he'd been betrayed. Now he and other artists know better than to trust Kanye. And at number 1, Kanye. This one might be a bit of a stretch, but just go with me on this one. I believe Kanye has been warning us about himself. Over the years, he's written songs that essentially paint him as someone with a god complex and a natural-born leader. Years ago, we would have thought that this meant that he thinks he's better than everyone else and that his music is superior. He and some fans see him as a pioneering force in the rap world, so maybe this thought came about because of the imagery that he created with his music, painting himself as such a lively force. But now, I think he's been warning us of something much bigger. Kanye knew that he was destined for greatness, but we didn't know what his plans were until now. He has his sights set on the White House, and what bigger title is there in America than president, the ultimate leader? Kanye tried running in 2020 and will try again in 2024, so maybe this is what he's been warning us about all this time of talking himself up. He's called himself the new Moses and says that he will lead his people out of the struggle. He's advocating for musicians owning their rights to their music, so maybe this is just the beginning of Kanye really acting on the leadership role that he's been hyping up for so long.
Number 10, we have the Grammys. Back in March, the Grammys made the ultimate decision to bar West from performing due to his concerning online behavior. A rep of the artist confirmed that the team received a phone call informing Kanye that he had unfortunately been removed from the lineup from performers for the show due to his behavior. Ultimately, the decision was made because Kanye was having a performance on the live network television would be a risky situation based on his social media post and activity in the past few months. With his online harassment with Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian, the Grammys was scared he might use the stage to continue the harassment, and they did not condone this and made the decision to ban Kanye from performing, and I don't blame them. Number 9, we have Instagram. Instagram restricted and deleted content from Kanye's page after the star violated the social media platform's rules and guidelines after the star made some pretty serious comments towards the Jewish community. A Meta spokesperson confirmed that they decided to impose restrictions on the account as the posts broke strict guidelines and temporarily stopped Kanye from posting for 24 hours. This isn't the first time West has been restricted on the social media platform, as his account was suspended back in March after he hurled racial slurs at the Daily Show host Trevor Noah back in March, and this probably won't be the last. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Number 8, Twitter. Just hours after Kanye was suspended off Instagram, Twitter ultimately decided to ban Kanye as well after the star didn't learn his lesson and continued to throw more shade towards the Jewish community. The tweets stayed up on the platform for a couple of hours, and it was removed and replaced with, "This tweet violated Twitter rules." Within the past week, Kanye West has been on social media as he continues to defend himself for wearing his WLM t-shirt and accused Kim Kardashian of being their daughter Chicago West. Clearly having the ban after returning to Twitter, he posted a photo of himself and Mark with a caption saying, "Look at this, Mark. How you gonna kick me off Instagram when you used to be my friend?" With many users calling for West to be permanently banned, it's going to be interesting to see what comes to light days ahead. Number 7, Chicago's birthday party. In January, Kanye West claimed that Kim Kardashian banned him from attending Chicago's birthday party. West took to Instagram in a video to say, "Just wishing my daughter a public happy birthday. I wasn't allowed to know where her party was." Sources, however, said that initially Kim and Kanye had planned on having 2 separate parties, and their daughter and Kanye was set to have his party Saturday at 4 p.m. Insiders then later confirmed the allegations were untrue, and Kanye was given information about the party as he was spotted in attendance while talking to Chris. Number 6, Sierra Cannon. After the rapper published a series of now deleted Instagram posts detailing his feud with ex-wife Kim Kardashian over where their children should be schooled, Kim decided to take swift action after her husband revealed the name of her children's private school and hired additional security to guard the entire school. Kim is allegedly paying the bill for the increased protective measures, which are taken to prevent strangers and Kanye from showing up at the school and potentially harming the Kardashian West children and their schoolmates, now that their location has been made public information. I just hope Kanye realizes putting himself first in this situation really put his kids and their classmates in danger, and going forward, I hope he'll choose to keep private matters more private. Number 5, MTV Video Awards. Over the past 40 years, the VMAs have brought us some unpredictable and iconic moments in the music industry with the biggest stars. However, back in 2009, after Taylor Swift attempted to accept her award for Best Video by Female Artist, Kanye took to the stage in a heated moment to say, "Taylor, I'ma let you finish, but Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time." This outburst, however, didn't get Kanye disbarred from the event, though it wasn't until 2015 when Kanye reprised his most infamous stunt that earned him from being barred from all future award shows. 4. Kris Jenner's home. Back in 2015, Kris wasn't happy when daughter Kim Kardashian demanded the momager allow her family to move in while contractors completed the renovations on the bathrooms in Kim and Kanye's bedroom. In a clip that aired on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Kris is heard saying, "I would have to make a run for it." Kim then went to ask Kylie, who was quick to say, "Nobody is staying at my house." With Kim at the time being pregnant, Kris did let her move in for a short time, but Kanye wasn't allowed. There was much speculation to why the rapper was banned from the house, with the biggest reason being Kanye has never been a welcoming figure in the Jenner home for a visit, let alone for an extended period of time. 3. The NBA. The NBA is a highly competitive league, just like many other professional sports leagues. There's a lot of rules imposed on players and the teams. While West didn't get banned from attending the events, his basketball shoes did. And when West teamed up with Adidas to create the Yeezy's first basketball shoes, he was so excited about the product he worked on for 3 years. Before Kanye could have an Adidas athlete don his Yeezy basketball shoe, the NBA scrubbed them off the list of shoes that were approved to wear during the season. While the sneaker color doesn't violate the league's restrictions, the NBA found the 3-meter reflective heel panel distracting for both arena spectators and television viewers, causing the NBA to ban it from the game. Number 2. Saturday Night Live. Kanye has allegedly been banned from appearing on any Saturday Night Live show as a result of his very public meltdown and feud with Pete Davidson over Kim Kardashian. While SNL isn't afraid to tackle any story on head, it's said you will no longer see Kanye on the show or hear his name ever mentioned again. While the show doesn't have a list of banned celebrities, everyone knows behind the scene it exists. There are certain people who are so awful they'll never be invited back, and then there's people like Kanye who are great on TV, just not worth all the drama. Number 1. Kim Kardashian's home. In January, Kanye West told Jason Lee that he was blocked by security for entering his ex Kim Kardashian's house while trying to visit his 4 children. West then goes on to say that the reason for not being able to enter the property is because Kim Kardashian's boyfriend at the time, Pete Davidson, was in the house, and Kim wanted to avoid any confrontation between the 2 stars. Kanye then sent 2 of his cousins to speak with Kim, and they noted that security wasn't going to get in the way of West seeing his kids, and that his kids weren't going to use TikTok without his permission. There's no wonder why Kim Kardashian made the decision to keep her children from seeing Kanye's outburst, and had security stop him from coming in.
The documentary will serve as a new source of information on the split that took over 2 years to finalize. While some of the info seen will have already been a part of the revived docu-series on Kim's family, the Kardashians, there will be plenty of new info from friends, family, and co-workers that will reveal what really went down behind the scenes. So let's break down the relationship between these two, where things started to go wrong, how they met, and of course, who've they been with since. The origins of Kanye. The couple first met in 2003 at a rap party for that season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Kanye was working on a song with fellow musician Brandy at the time. Seeing as Kim was one of her closest friends, she asked if her buddy Ye could tag along. While their first meeting was no fairy tale, they did eventually spark a romance around 2012. At that time, Kim was dating a man named Kris Humphries, who she eventually married for 72 days. Yes, I said days. Apparently during her time with Humphries, she realized that she had a stronger connection with Ye and dropped Kris to pursue that. They first took their relationship public in April of 2012, and that year Ye had released Cold, which name dropped Kim in his lyrics. And I'll admit I had fell in love with Kim around the same time she fell in love with him. From there things moved fast. After a whirlwind romance, US confirmed confirmed in December 2012 that Kardashian was pregnant with their first child. West celebrated the news at the time by referring to the E-star as his baby mama on stage at his Atlantic City concert. 4 months after becoming parents, Kanye popped the question in front of Kim's family and friends in San Francisco's Giants baseball stadium, which was the cheesiest way to propose on the planet. It's a good way to do it, but come on, Kanye, you couldn't have spelled the message out in the sand on a private beach or something? By 2016, the couple had begun to raise 2 of their 4 kids, and while they seemed like a strong family unit on the outside, the reality was that they were facing marital problems left and right. In November of that year, Kanye was admitted to the hospital thinking that he was just extremely fatigued, but it turned out that he was actually suffering some kind of a psychological crisis, according to the fire department who were called by Kanye's doctor. It turns out that his St. Pablo tour was filled with odd behavior and outlandish outbursts. During one particular situation at one of his scheduled shows in Sacramento, he took to the stage and delivered a long, meandering speech criticizing friends and associates in the music industry, including Jay-Z and Beyonce, while simultaneously praising Donald Trump for his communication styles. He then ended that concert short after only performing a few songs. 2 nights before that in San Jose, he said that he would have supported Donald Trump if he voted in the elections, and he asked the crowd what they believed in, and when nobody responded, he shouted at them that he was putting his life, his career, his public well-standing at risk, everything, when he's speaking to us like this, claiming that he was delivering the truth. While 2016 was a rough one for Mr. Yee, 2018 was so much worse. Despite claiming that he would begin seeing a counselor to help manage his emotions, Kanye wound up doubling down on his outlandish behavior by posting a series of tweets and rants online that were just fueled with racism and anti-Semitism and just claims that the world was trying to push an agenda on him. Now, I can't verbally quote the things that he said or show the tweets without being shut down immediately, so if you're really curious about the tweets, make sure you check out the documentary. His tweets weren't the only concerning behavior starting to loom overhead. According to testimonies from friends as well as Kim herself, Kanye had become a stricter father the closer that they had gotten to 2020. Now with 4 kids, it felt like he was under some kind of pressure and he was unable to manage the emotions that he had without putting the blame on the family unit. According to Kim, Kanye went so far as to remove the TVs from all rooms in the house and removing makeup from their daughter North's bedroom. In April of 2020, while he was being named a bona fide billionaire by Forbes magazine, it turns out that he had been neglecting his family entirely, focusing on music rather than the actual family unit. But 2020 would end up being the most unhinged year of this dude's life. In summer 2020, Kanye announced his presidential campaign, planning to run alongside Donald Trump, so that he could at least get closer to the guy if he wasn't elected, you know? Unfortunately, he had to be one of those political figures with zero filter. He shared personal details about his family during his first rally in South Carolina, claiming that he almost ended daughter North's life before she was even born. Hey man, why can't you keep that to yourself? The last nicest thing he ever did for his wife was buy a ghost. Yeah, this man purchased and developed a lifelike holographic reprint of Kim's late dad, and she thought it was awesome, but hey, that's a dead guy. About a month later, behind the scenes, the couple started arguing constantly and were living completely separate lives, according to Kim. While it may have taken a while, she finally caved and filed for a divorce in January of 2021. The split. While the papers were filed in 2021, they actually were not finalized until November of 2022. In between A and B, Kanye fought hard to get his wife back, going through over 10 lawyers before finally landing on the right team. And at one point, he even declared his intention to woo her back after seeing several photos of herself and Saturday Night Live star Pete Davidson. The two had met while Kim was hosting an episode of the show, and the writers cast herself and Pete to star as Jasmine and Aladdin in a sketch that forced them to hold hands and touch face. It turns out that Pete was acting as Kim's rebound, as well as her scene partner. They were spotted together several times over the course of a few months before publicly calling it quits in 2022. While Kim and Pete were together, Kanye was hard at work hatching a plot to get his wife and his kids back that ultimately went nowhere. No matter what Kim did, it seemed like Kanye was right there to tell her why it was dumb. Kim wrote via Twitter that her ex constantly coming at her were making a healthy and supportive co-parenting relationship impossible. In fact, as part of one of her main parenting duties, Kim has to actively keep her kids from seeing comments online posted by their father. She claims that this is in an effort to keep the image of their dad clean. The last thing she would want for the family unit is her kids asking why daddy posted a funny symbol online. With the finalization of their divorce, each were granted joint custody of their kids, and Kanye would be made to pay $200,000 a month in child support, as well as pay for 50% of their kids' educational and security costs. But the documentary revealed that there was much more at stake than just the family unit. Kim and Kanye were fighting over properties from around the world, multi-million-dollar shares in equity of multiple different businesses. But the biggest and probably most obvious confirmation from this documentary is that the relationship that we were being presented with was a lie. They seemed like some happy family unit on the outside, when in reality Kim was living with a very toxic man who had little to no control over his personal emotions. The subtle disses and racist tweets weren't some weird phase or reaction to a situation, they were real feelings that Kanye needed to express. He needed to tell fans at his show about his daughter. He needed to tell us what he was going to do to Jewish people. What he really needed to shut up and just get what was coming to him. The aftermath of the split was magical. Kanye lost all of his sponsorship deals, his music sales have dropped drastically, and the only women that he seems to attract are Kim Kardashian lookalikes. The verdict. With the release of Kim vs. Kanye, the divorce, the world is being given a new insight to what was the most powerful couple in the world. The truth will be revealed and both sides of the story will be shared. By the time this video is released, the actual documentary should be out, so hopefully we'll be back with a step-by-step breakdown of the two-part TV event of the summer.